Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to decorate a cake. In this occasion we're going to do a 3-tier cake for a sweet 15, or how we say it in Puerto Rico, a quinceañera. So we're going to be showing you step by step on how to do it. Obviously we're going to be using styrofoam because it's going to be a cake where it's going to be just for pictures. Then we're gonna have another separate cake for the party, but stay tuned and let's get started.
So the first thing we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be putting buttercream on the board, and what this does is it works as a glue, so it'll stick the cake to your board so your cake doesn't slip. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put the cake on the board, and you're gonna measure and make sure it's the same amount of space between 4 spaces, which is gonna be the front, the back, and the sides. Then you're gonna press hard just to make sure it does stick to the board, and then you will be ready for the icing. So now we're gonna start icing the cake. So you're gonna grab some buttercream, you're gonna put it on top of the cake, and you're just gonna spread it around. Then you're gonna grab some more and you're gonna keep spreading. You're gonna do this until you got all the cake covered on top. Don't be afraid to use a decent amount of buttercream, since you need it to spread around, and make sure you grab all the corners. And so once you have that, then you're gonna start smoothing and making sure that it's level all the way. So now I'm gonna grab my spatula, and slowly and softly you're gonna start smoothing the icing on top. So remember, don't pressure too much, do it slightly and slowly. And you're gonna go all the way and keep doing it until you get a really nice smooth surface. Guys, if you're gonna get a scraper, I want to give you the suggestion to get a plastic scraper. It's easier to handle, and in my opinion it's great to work with. I use this one because it's what I had in hand at the moment, but if you guys are starting decorating, or if you guys are decorating but you're not that experienced, the plastic scraper will be a better option for you guys. So just keep smoothing it until all the surface is smooth. So now we're gonna be putting buttercream on the sides. You're just gonna grab buttercream and you're just gonna put it, and you're gonna go back and forth, and you're gonna be spreading the buttercream. Make sure you get a decent amount of buttercream, because remember, what you're doing is you're spreading it, so you need a very good amount. Don't be afraid, okay? So just put the buttercream, spread back and forth, then you go grab some more, put it back and forth, and you're gonna keep repeating this step until you're done. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna get the scraper and you're gonna put it sideways, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna be moving your turntable and you're gonna scrape the excess of buttercream slowly. Okay, you're not gonna press hard, okay, because if you press hard you're gonna take all the buttercream out. You're just gonna put it on top of the cake and you're gonna spread it nice and slowly. Do not put pressure. You're just scraping it to make it look smooth. You're not gonna scrape it to take the buttercream out. You're gonna do it slightly and smoothly and softly so the buttercream will get a smooth surface. Okay guys, while working with the buttercream, this buttercream is from Sam's Club. It's very different from Publix. I work at Publix, and the Sam's Club buttercream is way thicker and it's a little bit more difficult to work with. So I was having a hard time trying to smooth the cake. So what I did was I got a metal bowl. I put hot water, and since the spatula I'm using is metal, it kind of worked out in favor of me, because once you put the metal spatula in the hot water, it gets the spatula hot, and between the water that the spatula has plus the hot surface that has, when you smooth the cake, it comes smoother. So that's why I did it. Normally I don't do that, but I don't know if they changed the recipe. But I used to work with Sam's Club buttercream before, and it wasn't as hard at this time. For some reason the buttercream was very thick, and so it was I was having a hard time trying to smooth the cake. So when that happens to you, you could do two things. Or you could do the metal bowl with hot water and a metal spatula and just dip it in the water, let it get hot, and just smooth it like I'm doing in the video. Or you could get buttercream in a big bowl and just put some simple syrup and mix it and make it a little bit less stiff, because the buttercream was stiff. So you need like a medium you don't want like a stiff. You need like a medium consistency towards soft. So it's like, it's complicated at the beginning when you're starting, but once you work with it for so long, you get the idea and you know how to do it. If you're starting, I would recommend you to use instead the Walmart buttercream. The bucket is smaller, but it's easier to work with than the big bucket that they sell at Sam's Club. Unfortunately, in Publix, they don't sell big amounts of buttercream. I wish they would, because Publix buttercream is awesome to work with. It's super smooth, super soft. It's the perfect consistency to smooth a cake, to ice a cake. So, but if that happened to you guys, well, that will be the solution. Either the hot water with the metal spatula, or you could mix buttercream with simple syrup. Simple syrup is very easy. You just mix sugar with hot water, and that will work. And then you mix it and it should work. Make sure you use your mixer to mix it and get it fluffy, and it should work. You shouldn't have a problem with that. Okay, so just smoothing the cake as you see, and just keep doing that until you're happy with the final result. So we're gonna be repeating the steps that we did with the first tier. We're gonna start repeating the same steps with the second tier. Also, I wanted to mention, if you guys are gonna get a turntable, make sure you guys get a really good turntable, even if it costs a little more. Remember, if you're gonna be decorating cakes, it's gonna be an investment because you're gonna be using it a lot. So that will be a great thing to do, because in my case, I want to buy one, and the one that I had was the only one they had available, and it was not a good turntable, so I kind of had a little bit of a hard time. But if you guys are gonna buy a turntable, make sure you get a good one. Believe me, you're not gonna regret it. You're gonna be using it a lot. Okay, so basically we're just gonna keep smoothing the cake, repeating the steps, and making sure you cover all the cake and smooth it as we did with the first tier. Also, I wanted to mention, since this is not a real cake, it's styrofoam, it's very light. So when you're smoothing the cake, it kind of goes a little bit sideways. If that happens to you, you could get a little clean kitchen towel, wet it, put it on top of the turntable, and then put the cake on top of the turntable, and it should stay. You should not have that problem. Also, I wanted to mention, if you're doing a real cake, you're gonna need to put little plates under the cake. In this occasion, I didn't use little plates because obviously this is not a real cake. We're gonna stop the cake. So now you're gonna grab your spatula and you're gonna lift your cake slowly from the turntable. You're gonna put your fingers under it and you're gonna lift the cake. Make sure you grab it really well. You don't want to drop it. And then you're gonna look all your sides, and then you're gonna put it right in the center. If you're doing this for the first time, it's better if you use one of the plates that you're going to be using for under the cake. If you have extra ones, use one of those to mark your cake right in the center. You put it on top and it'll leave like a mark because obviously you put it on top, get it out, and then it'll have the mark, and then you place in that specific mark, you're gonna place the cake, and it's gonna be evenly, and it's gonna be right in the center. So now we're gonna be icing the 8-inch. If you guys want to know, I used 3 different sizes, obviously. The first tier is a 12-inch. The second tier, it's a 10-inch. And the third tier is an 8-inch. So now we're just gonna repeat the steps by putting icing and smoothing the cake. So we're gonna do that until we are happy with the final result. Okay, so now we're gonna repeat the same step. You're gonna grab it, you're gonna put your spatula in, you're gonna lift the cake, you're gonna put your hands under the cake and you're gonna lift it, and you're gonna stack it on top of the 8-inch. As you can see here, I'm cleaning the excess buttercream on the bottom. You don't want to leave that, because if you do, it's not gonna be smooth on the bottom of the cake when you stack it on top of the 10-inch. So you're gonna do the same. You're gonna center it. If it's not centered, you could use your spatula like I did and slightly move it very slowly to the side and just center it. You want to make sure all the tiers are centered. Okay, and then you're gonna go back, you're gonna go down, you're gonna eye level it and make sure they're all centered. Now we're gonna proceed on putting the ribbon. What you're gonna do is you're gonna turn your cake around, and you're gonna start putting the ribbon in the side that it's less perfect. So make sure you turn your cake all around. The ugliest side, that's where you're gonna start putting the ribbon, because that's gonna be the back side. You always want to make sure that the front is the nicest, smoothest, and most perfect side part of the cake. So once you put the ribbon, you're gonna go turning and slowly and putting your ribbon. Make sure you don't press hard on the ribbon or pull the ribbon, because if you do, you're gonna damage the cake. Like the buttercream is gonna get all messed up. So make sure you have a lot of patience and be very, very careful when you're placing the ribbon. You're just gonna tap with your fingers very slightly, very, very softly. You don't want to do it too hard, because your finger is gonna go all the way in the cake. So remember that it has to be very slight touch. We're gonna be putting the crown on top of the cake. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna make sure that is centered. I did notice that once I put the crown a little bit later, I noticed it was a little tiny bit sideways. but I went back and I fixed it. So just try to be very careful and make sure you do it right the first time, so like that you don't have to be fixing, because once you put it there, it'll leave a mark. So take your time and make sure it's in the right place. Okay, make sure it's centered. Now we're gonna be putting the letter. Make sure it's centered, and when you put it softly, and just do little taps here and there just to make sure it's pressed nicely to the cake without leaving any marks. I forgot to get piping bags, but this Ziploc bag will do it. Just put the buttercream inside and cut a little hole on it, and it'll work perfectly fine. So now we're gonna do the bottom border for each tier. So for the border, you're gonna press, go sideways, let it go, press, go sideways, let it go, press, go sideways, let it go, and you're gonna repeat that motion over and over again until you're done. In another video, I could show you guys a little bit more in detail how to do borders and roses and all that stuff, but that will be in another video. So now we're gonna be putting the flowers on the cake. You're gonna stick it in the cake wherever you feel like it's where you want it. Also, you're gonna do the same with the crystals, and this is gonna give it a nice, elegant touch. I wanna thank you guys for watching this tutorial. I hope you guys love it. See you until the next time. Thank you so much. Bye bye.